Poetry is only fully appreciated when read aloud. A whole dimension of a poem goes unnoticed when the words on the page aren't allowed to make the sounds they were meant to. To understand and give a comprehensive analysis of a poem, one must see or hear how its sounds complement or even create meaning. This lesson is all about sound devices. I have gathered here today 10 sound devices to look out for. If you're a great poet, be sure to use them to your advantage. If you're a critic, be sure to scold the poets who don't. I have ordered the devices from what I believe to be the most to least important, based on frequency of use and magnitude of their effects. Welcome back to Between the Lines. I'm your host, Adam Webb. Top of the list is rhythm. This is the most essential sound device. Ignoring a poem's rhythm is practically ignoring a third of its depth and meaning. There's an entire lesson on rhythm and meter, so we won't get into that here. Hardly separable from rhythm is meter, which comes in at number 2. Since meter is covered in a previous lesson, I'll forego dealing with it here. Coming in at number 3 is good old rhyme. Not all poems rhyme, and not all rhymes are obvious. But understanding the importance of rhymes is a critical part of breaking down a poem. There's an entire video dedicated to rhymes, so check that out for the full story. The fourth sound device that you need to understand is repetition. It is simple on the surface, saying the same thing over and over again. But repetition is a device that can shift the whole trajectory of a poem. In my experience, repetition has 4 main functions in poetry. 1. It builds emphasis. Our attention is called to repeated words. 2. It creates rhythm. 3. It affects the pace of a poem. Repetition can create a sense of urgency, especially when short action words are repeated. It can also slow a poem down to create hesitance or vacillation, especially when longer words are repeated. And finally, it creates imagery. Let's look at an extract of a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, The Bells. Keeping time, in a sort of runic rhyme, to the throbbing of the bells, bells, to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, as he knells, in a happy runic rhyme, to the rolling of the bells, bells, to the tolling of the bells, bells. The repetition gives the poem an incredibly catchy rhythm, and it almost forces you to sing or rap instead of just read. Also, the repetition of bells echoes the ringing sound, and what better way to keep time than with the repetition of time? You might have expected this to be closer to the number 1 spot. Finally, we are at alliteration. While not quite as primary as the other 4 devices, alliteration cannot be ignored. This device is the repetition of the beginning consonant sounds of words, and these words are usually within close proximity, such as in Peter picks the pickled peppers. Here we see the repetition of the P sound. We won't go too deep into alliteration here because there's a whole video on that, one that goes way beyond what you have ever imagined alliteration to be, I guarantee it. Consonance is number 6, and it is similar to alliteration. While alliteration is the repetition of the beginning consonant sounds, consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds, regardless of whether they're at the beginning of the words or anywhere else. This technically means that all alliteration is consonance, as alliteration can be seen as a type of consonance. Consonance can be used to direct certain emotions at the reader. It is also a crucial element in making slant rhymes, something you can take a look at in the lesson on rhymes and rhyme schemes. The phrase, Peter should stop looping hoops, doesn't have alliteration, but it does have consonance. Watch the video on alliteration and sound symbolism, and you will get some good ideas as to what the effects of consonance might be. Assonance, which is the repetition of the same vowel sound in words that are close together, doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Because there are much fewer vowel sounds than consonant sounds, and because vowel sounds tend to go unnoticed when compared to their consonant counterparts, assonance is much easier to miss. The phrase, "the light of the fire is a sight," is assonant because of the repetition of the light and airy I sound. The video on alliteration and sound symbolism will give you some good details as to the effects that assonance can have. Boom. We are at the loud and obnoxious onomatopoeia. No list of sound devices would be valid without it. Onomatopoeias are words that sound like their meaning. The buzzing of a bee can be heard in the word buzz, and the crackling of fire can be heard in the word crackle. And so these words are onomatopoeic. The main purpose of this hard-to-miss device is to create auditory imagery and draw attention to certain actions in a poem. Check out this crazy song by Todd Rundgren. It's the ultimate ode to onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Every time I see ya, my senses tell me hobba, and I just can't disagree. I get a feeling in my heart that I can't describe. It's a sort of whack, where, wheeze, whine, sputter, splat, squirt, scrape, clink, clank, clunk, clatter, crash, bang, beep, buzz, ring, rip, roar, retch, twang, toot, tinkle, thud, pop, plop, plunk, pow, snort, snuck, sniff, smack, screech, splash, squish, squeak, jingle, rattle, squeal, boing, honk, hoot, hack, belch. If you thought onomatopoeia was obnoxious, buckle up. Cacophony is as noisy as it gets. Also called dissonance, this device describes the jarring madness of clashing, discordant sounds. Listen to this sentence. Trudging and thrashing about, the bastard giant axed his way through Zeus's titans. There's absolutely no harmony there. There are so many different sounds fighting for our attention, with the harsh b and k sounds adding in some force. This sentence takes more effort to say than most, causing us to be extra deliberate and probably harsh in our pronunciation. This device can be used to highlight a feeling of confusion or chaos, or to introduce certain moods and emotions in a poem, like frustration or anger. After the cacophonous storm comes the euphonious calm. Euphony, though way down at 10th place, is nothing to sneeze at. Euphony is the use of words that produce sounds that are pleasing to the ear. This sounds vague, but when done well, its effect will be smooth and soothing. While devices like rhyme, assonance, and consonance can be used to create euphony, words can sound harmonious even without the help of those devices. Cacophony creates some noise and chaos, while euphony creates calm and harmony. Listen to these lines from John Keats to Autumn. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close-bosomed friend of the maturing sun. You can feel the calm and serenity within these lines, even without the context of the rest of the poem. The words rely on soft sounds. Not only that, but there are not too many short, sharp words. The longer words, and even the hyphen thrown in, give us a smooth, relaxed pace, where we can just take our time to bask in the blissful images. Well, that's it. Those are your top 10 sound devices in poetry. Now, all you have to do is listen.